There has been this little divide, and we'll have to see how it plays out moving forward. But the big question right now, in addition to long-range fires, is F-16s. We keep hearing members of Congress urge the Biden administration to provide F-16 fighter jets to Ukraine. The Pentagon stance hasn't changed. They don't believe it's worth it. If you look at the Ukrainian skies, according to the Pentagon, things are getting shot down because neither side has control of the air, has complete control of the air. And so the U.S. doesn't believe this is a system that will, A, provide significant help, B, do it in a timely fashion, and C, that there is safety involved.
Welcome to Reporter's Notebook, where we talk to the Washington Examiner's top journalists about the stories breaking on their beats. I'm Jim Antle. I'm joined today by defense reporter Mike Brest. Mike, we've seen some developments with the Patriot missile defense system that the United States provided to Ukraine. Russia's been bombarding Ukraine. Talk a little bit about what's going on and what the status of that is.
Earlier this week, there were, as you mentioned, a couple of different Russian barrages of various missiles, and one of them, and it seems clear now to experts and officials that they're trying to target the U.S. Patriot system. Now, the Patriot system is the most advanced piece of U.S. military technology that they provided in the war. It's tens of millions of dollars. It's, they provided one of these. That's how it takes 90 people to operate it. That's how large this weapon system is. And so earlier this week, we heard Russia say that they destroyed it. Now the Ukrainians say it wasn't hit, and as has become apparent in the war, you have to take each side with a little bit of a grain of salt, and somewhere the truth lies in the middle. And so we've heard now from U.S. officials that the system was damaged earlier this week, but it was not very consequential. The damage has already been repaired, and the U.S. military actually was able to help them repair it virtually.
So it seems that the Ukrainians have had some success in terms of intercepting Russian missiles during some of these barrages, no?
That's exactly right. We heard last night the Ukrainian military say that there were 30 rockets shot into Ukraine, and they were able to intercept 29 of them. We heard earlier this week Ukraine say that 18 rockets were fired one night, and the Ukrainians were able to intercept all 18 of them. And so we really are starting to see some of the benefits, specifically as it comes to getting these rockets, taking them down before they can cause damage, that could become a decisive part of the war.
And the United Kingdom has emerged as a major source of aid to Ukraine. In some cases, maybe giving them things the United States has been reluctant to do.
That's exactly right. We heard earlier this week from the UK Defense Ministry that they're going to be providing Ukraine with long-range missiles. And so the U.S. has not been willing to do this, in part because the U.S. doesn't really want to enable Ukraine to be able to hit targets within Russia. And so there has been this little divide, and we'll have to see how it plays out moving forward. But the big question right now, in addition to long-range fires, is F-16s. We keep hearing members of Congress urge the Biden administration to provide F-16 fighter jets to Ukraine. The Pentagon stance hasn't changed. They don't believe it's worth it. If you look at the Ukrainian skies, according to the Pentagon, things are getting shot down because neither side has control of the air, has complete control of the air. And so the U.S. doesn't believe this is a system that will, A, provide significant help, B, do it in a timely fashion, and C, that there is safety involved, that this is a good use of U.S. funds and aid.
So closer to home, there's a controversy over where Space Command is going to be headquartered, and it appears that abortion politics might be playing a role in this decision. What have you heard? Earlier
this week, there was a report from another outlet that there were unnamed officials who said that the abortion debate is playing a role in deciding where the long-term home of Space Command will be. It's currently in Colorado Springs, Colorado, but there are plans to move it to Huntsville, Alabama in the coming years. And so this report earlier this week that really stirred up this controversy and why it's in the news cycle right now is that there was a report that the Biden administration is considering, stopping this decision due to the ramifications of Alabama's abortion laws.
So after Roe versus Wade was
Exactly.
overturned by the Dobbs decision in the Supreme Court, Alabama enacted one of the stricter
Yes.
abortion bans in the country.
Exactly. And so DOD essentially said they haven't, this isn't necessarily true. I heard from a White House official who specifically said that abortion policy won't play a role in this decision. But in light of this story, we had members of Congress from both Colorado and Alabama come out and express their opinions. We heard from various Alabama legislators that said this is outlandish, this is politicizing the military. Now, we also heard from Colorado Republicans in particular say that they think this is the wrong way to make this decision, but that Colorado is actually the right decision.
Sure.
And so they have, some incentive to, try and keep Space Command in their district.
Right. But Alabama, the senator from Alabama is a pretty big factor in the whole argument over what the Pentagon's policy is with regard to abortion.
Absolutely. So Senator Tommy Tuberville of Alabama has placed a hold on all DOD nominees, and he's doing this because he doesn't believe the department's policy on paying the travel expenses for service members or service members' loved ones to get an abortion out of state is legal. Mm-hmm. According to Senator Tuberville, this violates the Hyde Amendment, which prevents federal dollars from going to most abortions. Mm-hmm. Now, we've seen the DOJ come out and say that they believe this policy does not violate the Hyde Amendment, but that hasn't stopped Senator Tuberville from holding up, to this point over the last couple months, about 200 nominations. DOD says if this goes on, it could be as much as 650 by the end of the year, including some pretty big names like the Joint Chief of Staff, who will be up for confirmation in September.
So in theory, to kind of tie the two controversies together, if Space Command was moved to Huntsville, taxpayers may end up subsidizing people traveling back to Colorado Springs for abortions.
That is something we could see play out.
Thank you, Mike. You can read Mike and the rest of our political team's coverage at WashingtonExaminer.com.